Dasha Tech tutorial. So today we will be studying semiconductor part 3. So here we are going to cover PN junction, and then we are going to cover PN junction with no voltage. That will not give any voltage supply to the PN junction. Then under that we will be discussing diffusion current, as we have discussed individually in P-type and N-type section in previous lectures. So this we will be covering. Then we will be moving on to the depletion region across the junction. Next will be our drift current. Then we will be we will be deriving different relations between these parameters, such as depletion width, that is W, electric field E, and built-in voltage, that is V of Bi. So let's begin. Now here you can see a PN junction material. So here in this semiconductor, in this PN junction semiconductor, when we bring a P-type silicon in contact with an N-type silicon, we get a junction known as PN junction. And this type of structure contains two terminals, that is anode and cathode, and these anode and cathode are connected to this PN type semiconductor with the help of metal contacts. But practically we are forming this junction within a single silicon crystal. So this is single silicon crystal on which we are creating P-type and N-type semiconductors with the help of doping. And here you can also see two terminals. So this side it is cathode and this side it is anode here, and it is representing a diode, which we will study in our next module. So it is also called as a PN junction diode. Okay, so next let's see how the PN junction reacts when we give when we do not supply any voltage, that is the circuit is open. So now here you can see, so this is a structure of a PN junction material. So now in this section we will study what is diffusion current. So to begin with, we know that the diffusion current, how it is formed, when free electrons and holes move from a higher concentrated area to a lower concentrated area. So here you can see in this P-type material, the carriers which is more, that is the majority carriers is holes, and in N-type it is free electrons. So now what happens when there is no voltage? Your holes will move from a higher concentrated area to a lower concentrated area. So holes start moving towards the junction and crossing and towards the N-type. Similarly, electrons starts moving from a higher concentrated area, that is N-type, towards the junction and then towards the P-type. So what happens here? So when holes move from left to right, certain ions are formed, because here the P-type is now devoid of holes. So what type of ions will be formed? Negative ions will be formed across the junction in P-type. Similarly, under N-type, what will happen? As electrons move from N-type, what will be created? Positive ions will be created. So your N-type will be getting depleted of electrons and positive ions will be formed, and your P-type will be depleted of holes and negative ions will be formed across the junction. So these flow of electrons and holes will give rise to a current known as the diffusion current. So it is nothing but it is due to the flow of majority carrier, or we say it as the majority carrier diffusion. So electrons and hole components together form what? Diffusion current. And now we are going to see how a region known as depletion region is formed with the help of these negative and positive ions, which is also called as the bound charges. So here you can see your ID is nothing but it is the diffusion current, and it is flowing from positive to negative direction. So now let's see how a depletion region is formed. So here you can see a depletion region. So as near the junction, bound charges are there which are negative ions and positive ions. So these regions get depleted of, so under p type this region is getting depleted of holes, and in n type it is getting depleted of electrons. So this region cannot conduct anymore because they are devoid of electrons and holes, devoid of free charges, free carriers. So this region is known as the depletion region, which will be existing on both sides of the junction, and which will be restricting the further flow of holes and electrons from n type, from p type and n type respectively. So let's see then what happens. So this depletion region now, it will be forming what? It will be forming electric field across the junction. As positive and negative ions are present, these bound charges are present here. So it will help in the formation of, or it will establish an electric field, which will further give rise to a voltage drop across the junction, that is V0. So here you can see your V0, a barrier voltage. It is also known as the barrier voltage is formed across the junction, which will be increasing from the P side junction to the N side junction and will be attaining a constant value, that will be V0, whose value will be ranging from 0.6 volts to 0.9 volts. So now this voltage, this built-in voltage or barrier voltage will act as a restriction or barrier to the flow of electrons and holes near the junction. So this, its name is called barrier voltage. So now let's see this barrier voltage, what it gave rise to. It gave rise to the drift current. We know in the individual section of p type and n type that drift current is formed because of the potential, or when we are supplying energy to the p type or n type semiconductor. So now here the energy is provided by the built-in voltage, that is V0, or it is also known as VBI. This barrier or built-in voltage will act as energy to p-type and n-type semiconductor, which will give rise to another current that is called the drift current. And this drift current, as diffusion current is because of the majority carriers, the drift current will be because of the minority carriers. Now what are the minority carriers inside p-type and n-type? These are the, in p type it is electrons, free electrons, and in n type it is holes. And how they are created? They are created thermally. Okay, so they are the thermally generated holes and electrons because of the potential, because of the energy, that is V0. So now what V0 will do, it will extract electrons from p side to move across the junction, and holes from n side to move across the junction. So here electrons take part in the movement, and here holes, which will give rise to a current known as the drift current, which is represented as Is. So here Is is flowing from positive to negative, and diffusion is flowing from majority positive to majority negative, and here minority positive to minority negative. So now here you can see your Id and Is have different directions. That is, Id will be equal to Is, and it is in opposite direction. So the net current flow inside the semiconductor near the junction will be equal to 0. Why it is 0? Because an equilibrium condition is maintained by the voltage V0. Okay, so always your net current will be 0 in a PN junction when there is no voltage supply because of the potential created across the depletion region. So this equilibrium condition, that is Id is equal to Is, will be in equilibrium because of the barrier voltage V0. So now let's see what is depletion width and how it is related to our concentrations, that is donor and acceptor concentration. Donor concentration in n type and acceptor concentration in p-type. So here you can see in this figure we have taken PN junction with Na greater than Nd. So here we have assumed that the concentration of acceptor impurities, that is Na, will be greater than Nd. So now you can see the number of holes inside the p-type is more than the number of electrons inside the n-type. That's why your Xn and Xp. So here what is Xn and Xp? Xn is the width of the depletion region. So this is Xn, width of the depletion region in the p-type, and here your Xp is the width of the depletion region in p-type. Okay. So here as Na is greater than Nd, your Xn should be greater than Xp in order to uncover equal amount of charges. So your Xn should be greater so that your bound charges, that is positive charges, should be equal to the negative charges. So the width of depletion width under N type will be greater than the depletion width of the p-type, because here the number of negative ions is more than the positive ions across the n-type. So in order to cover equal negative and positive ions, your length of the depletion region should be unequal, that is Xn should be greater than Xp. So here we can plot a graph between the charge density with respect to the distance across the semiconductor, or we can say it is the length of the semiconductor. So it will look like as this. So here from XP we can plot a graph. So here your number of negative ions increases, and till what it will increase? It will increase up to your charge density across the p-type. Now what is charge density across the p-type? That is, the volume charge density will be equal to the charge times the acceptor concentration, that is Na. So here the charge is negative, so we have to write minus of Q times Na. So at this point you will be getting minus of Q times of Na. Similarly, across the n-type you can see your volume charge density will extend till Xn value. So this is the Xn value, this is Xp, and it will start increasing up to what? It will start increasing up to the maximum charge density, that is Q times Nd, that is donor concentration. So here how we will find the total charge, or the magnitude of the total charge inside it? We have to find the area of this rectangular across the left hand side and the area of this under the right hand side. So the area across this is Q times Na times Xp, and here it is Q times Nd times Xn. And in order to find the total charge, that is mod of Q plus and mod of Q minus across the semiconductors, we have to add an area, that is A, which is nothing but cross-sectional area of the junction. So this is the junction, and A is the cross-sectional of area of the junction, which is helping us to find out the total magnitude of the charges across the positive and negative side. So what is the positive charge across the n-type? So it is across the n-type. It is the area of the rectangle across the n-type, that is Q times Nd Xn times of A. Okay, in order to find the total charge, we have to multiply it with the cross-sectional area of the junction. So it is Q times Nd times of Xn times A. Similarly, the negative ions side, what is the total magnitude of the charge? That is mod of Q minus will be equal to Q times of Na into Xp, that is Q times of Na into Xp times the total cross-sectional area of the junction, that is A. So we know that to uncover equal amount of charges, what we are taking Xn greater than Xp. So here the Q plus should be equal to Q minus. So our Q plus is equal to Q minus. magnitude of both the charges will be equal. So here you can see Q times of NdXNA will be equal to Q times NaXP A. So it is quite simple. You will cancel Q and A. You will get NdXN will be equal to NaXP, or it is represented by a formula Xn by Xp will be equal to Na by Nd. So this is a very quite simple equation simplification. So you can find here Xn by Xp will be equal to Na by N. Relation for the electric field, we need two equation. One is your Poisson's equation, that is del square V, which is equal to minus of rho B by epsilon, and another is E, which is minus of del V, which is nothing but first order differentiation. Electric field is represented as minus of first order differentiation of the potential, that is V. And here this Poisson's equation represents relation between your potential and charge density, which is the curve of charge density is this, as we have seen earlier. And it is minus of it is related with the help of del square of V, that is the second order differentiation of the voltage, which will be equal to minus of charge density divided by epsilon. Now what is epsilon? Epsilon is the permittivity. Now what do you mean by permittivity? Permittivity is the ability of a substance to store electric charge in an electric field. So we can further simplify this equation as d square V by dx square of, which will be equal to minus of rho V by epsilon. Now we can further simplify it as d by dx of minus of dV by dx. So we can bring this minus to the LHS side. We will get minus of dV by dx, which will be equal to plus of rho B by epsilon. Now this minus of dV by dx can be substituted by E. Why? Because E is minus of dV by dx. So we can substitute in place of this as electric field E, which will be, now the equation will be d by dx of E, which will be equal to rho V by epsilon. So here you can find electric field. We can take the differentiation to the right hand side and find what? The integration. That is E is equal to integration of rho V by epsilon dx. So this is an equation which we will be using now to plot a graph between your electric field and the length of the semiconductor, that is x. So with respect to this curve, with respect to rho v, we can see that at xp your graph is increasing and reaching a maximum level, that is it is remaining constant and reaching a maximum level, which will be equal to minus of q times of Na. So here you can see for an electric field, the integration of this field, integration means what? The area covered by this rectangle. So the area covered by this rectangle, here it is minus of q times of Na, that is the maximum length, the length of this rectangle, and this is the width of the rectangle, that is xp. So area of the rectangle is minus of q times of Na xp. And what we have to divide? We have to divide by epsilon. So here it is divided by epsilon, that is x. So this portion will increase up to the maximum level when we will integrate this rectangle to a maximum level, which is q times of Na xp by epsilon. Similarly, for this rectangle, we know that the area under this rectangle is same as this. Okay, so these two rectangles have same area. So now your electric field will again start increasing because we are moving to the positive direction now. So electric field will increase to a level up to xn. After that it will become, so this is xn and it is becoming 0. So now this electric field, this maximum level of the electric field can also be represented as q times of nd xn, because as I said you, the area of these two rectangles are same. So this is the area of the rectangle because we are taking integration of the volume charge density. That means the area of the volume charge density. So it can also be represented by q times of ndxn divided by epsilon. So here these two values are nothing but these are the maximum values of the electric field, because at this point we are getting these values. So here the maximum, that is E max, and we are taking mod, so we are not getting any negative sign for Q times of Na into xp by epsilon. So here this is an important equation to remember, that is the maximum value of your electric field. So now we need to find out what is built-in voltage or the potential. So here we can see from this equation, that is E is equal to minus of del V. From here we can find the potential. So from this equation we can write down. So we will take this differentiation to the left hand side. What we will get? We will get the potential. So now here the potential will become, and we will also take minus to the your left hand side. So here it will become minus of integration of E dx. So your potential is nothing but it is the integration of the electric field. So what do we mean by integration of the electric field? That is the integration of this triangle formed by the electric field. So we know the triangle formula, it is half into base into height. So what is the base here? Base is the W, that is xn plus xp. We know that W is equal to xn plus xp, and what is height here? Height is either q times of nd xn by epsilon, or it is q times of na xp by epsilon, that is E max is your height. So we can substitute here, that is half into base, that is xn plus xp, into q times of nd xn by epsilon. So this is our formula. So xn plus xp can also be written as W. So we got our built-in voltage, that is VBI is equal to half of W times Q times ND xn, or we can write down Q times Na xp divided by epsilon. So alternatively we can use these two values. So this is an important formula which we will be using in our problem section. Now here this built-in voltage, or it is also equation which we will be using in the problem section. Another equation for the built-in voltage is this, that is V0. Built-in voltage is also called as the barrier voltage. So V0 is equal to Vt, that is the thermal voltage, times ln of Na divided by Na square, Ni square. What is Na? Na is the acceptor concentration, Nd is the donor concentration, and Ni is the intrinsic concentration, and its value will be ranging from 0.6 volts to 0.9 volts. So in the last section we will find relationship between XP-Xn, that is the width of the depletion region across N type and P type with respect in terms of W. So here you can see we can use our first proof, that is NdXn, which is equal to NaXp, which we have proved in the depletion width section. So we can simplify it and find out what is Xn. Similarly, we can find out what is Xp, and we have to substitute this Xn and Xp in the W equation, that is Xn plus Xp. So here we can substitute Xn in terms of Xp, and here we can substitute your Xp in terms of Xn and find this relation and further simplify and find the Xp value with respect to the W, which is Nd divided by Na plus Nd whole into W. Similarly, your Xn is Na divided by Na plus Nd whole into W. So these are the equation which we will be using in the problem section. Lastly, we will find out W in terms of the built-in voltage. So built-in voltage is represented as in the previous section we have proved, half of W times Q NdXn, or Q NaXp divided by epsilon. So here your VBI, so we can in order to find completely in terms of VBI and W, we can substitute Xn in terms of W. So we can substitute here your Xn in terms of W. So this is Xn in terms of W, and further simplify and find what is W square. Then we can find out what is W. So W is equal to whole root over of 2 epsilon by Q whole into Na plus Nd divided by Na into VBI. So this is also a very important equation which we will be using in the problem section. So in the next video we will study GATE semiconductor part 2 question. So stay tuned for my next video. Bye.